Hey everybody, my name is Rick and I am your disc golf coach, here to hopefully help improve your game a little bit more each day. Today we're going to be talking about powering your shot and what goes into adding velocity to your throw. I have a couple of other videos that cover the power pocket and the arm placement and how to hit your lines and stuff. This video is going to cover all the other stuff that goes into putting power into your shot, which is going to be your legs and your core, more like the lower body, the big muscles that really generate the power in your shot. So I'm just going to jump right in. I'm going to try not to explain, I'm not going to go super in detail on each thing because I want to cover a lot to try and not make this video too long. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is your foot placement and your hips and how that relates to adding power to your shot. So the biggest thing a biggest mistake a lot of players make is when they're stepping on their throw, they step with their toe, and their toe is actually facing their target that they're throwing at, and their hips are already open and towards the target, which means their arm is here and they're using their arm for the shot. Your hips are already open. There's no way to get that rotation in your body because your hips are already open. So you're going to compensate by throwing with your arm, and that's not what you want to do. We want to use our leg and our core, the stronger parts of our body, to really add velocity to the throw, not the arm. So in order to make sure that you have proper hip placement to allow your hips to twist, you want the side of your foot facing the line of your target. Some people actually use their heel and they kind of use the heel towards the target, and that works too, just as long as your hips are close. It's kind of like, if you watch like a batter that plays baseball, they really get those hips in and then they explode and their body is allowed to rotate with all that power. They add so much velocity to the bat. And that's what you want to reproduce in disc golf. You want to get that hip rotation to allow your body to rotate and generate power. So in order to do that, side of your foot, or as long as your hips closed, you don't want your toe pointing towards your target as you're stepping. With that, you want your front foot to be in front of your back foot. What I mean by that, you want the heel and the toe in line with each other towards the line of your target. If you have the heel behind, you're going to end up shanking your shot off to the right, and your hips are already partially open by having your foot back here. Having your foot in front allows your hips to be a little bit more closed and allows your arm to be in a line that's going to go down it's going to help your shot go down a line that you want it to go down rather than kind of pulling it off to the right. So let's see here. So yeah, with the foot placement, toe to heel is what you want. We're going to talk about weight distribution next. When you're coming into your shot, you want your back foot to have about 90% of your weight, and when you step for your shot, you want about 10% of your weight on the front foot, and you want the weight to transfer from one to the other during the shot. What some people do, and what I have done and still do from time to time when I'm not really thinking about it, I'm still working on this myself, is because I used to bat and swing this way, so I was used to having the weight on this foot. Now it's my front foot, so it's confusing to my body. So what I would do is I would come through the shot and I would step, and all of my weight would already be on my right foot as I'm coming through my shot. And it really messes the shot up, and you don't get the torque that you really want. I can still throw far doing that, but it just doesn't feel as good as when I distribute my weight properly and really have a smooth shot and more balance. I lose my balance more when I put too much weight on my front foot. So what you want to do is you want your body to be a little bit more centered as you're coming through the shot, or when you're distributing weight, you want your weight to be centered. You don't want to be over your front foot. You don't want to be over your back foot too much when you're loading your shot either. You want your core to be tight, and you want to have good posture as you're standing up. You don't want to lean left or right. You want to stay centered over your shot. Talking too fast, I should probably breathe. Okay. Anyways, distributing your weight. As you're coming through, you want the weight on the back foot here, 10% here, and then you're transferring the weight through the shot. You don't want to transfer too early and go like this and then throw. You want to transfer the weight during the throw. So let's talk about the hips that kind of deals with the weight transfer too. So like I said, we're coming through the X step. Our hips are closed, and now we're going to open them towards the shot. We're taking the hips and we're turning them towards our target. And how we're generating that power is as we're pushing off this back foot, our knee drives towards the inside right here, more towards the center. So if you're videoing yourself throwing, watch for your back foot and your hips and really getting that torque. Your knee's going to come inward and get those hips to drive towards your line. So you really want to drive this back hip as you're coming through. You want to drive towards your line and allow your body to rotate as quickly as possible. So don't really think about like that. It's about the rotation and getting your hip, this back hip, coming towards that line that you're aiming at. You're not really kind of lunging your hips out, you're twisting your hips. And that's where the back leg, you'll see the knee, you're twisting. You want to twist your hips. And because I've heard it explained where you're kind of lunging your hip, and that's not what you want to do. You don't want to lunge with it. You want to twist, create spin and torque on your body. One thing to do to kind of feel it if you're having problems feeling the hip motion, so get loaded. You're getting ready. Now take your arm and just kind of follow through with the hips. Imagine, okay, do this. Imagine you're punching someone, right? Obviously don't punch somebody. Punch a punching bag, something else. But you're throwing a punch, right? So do that without rotating your body or your hips. Just stand stationary and just do this. There's not a lot of power there. You're not going to get a lot of power. You're not going to generate a lot of power. Even if you're turning your upper body with it and your hips are stationary, you still don't have that much power. That's why you need each piece of your body working together. So get your hips loaded and then throw a punch. Feel how much more power there is in that punch when you really get your hips away and then towards your target. You can feel such a huge difference with all pieces of your body working to generate that power, and not just your arm, because that's what a lot of people do is they'll try to arm everything. And if you're just arming, there's no power. And even if you're arming and using your upper body, there's still no lower body. So you have to engage each piece of your body together to generate the power for your shot. So just feel that. Just practice it. Closed hips, open. Just try it a couple times and see how it feels. Like that, so you can feel the hip motion and the twisting. So talked about hip follow through. The core, if you just want to feel what your core feels like, how it should be tight. So tighten your abs, then just kind of swing your arms back and forth like this. And feel the control that your abs have stabilizing your body, and try to stay very stable and centered while you're doing that. You want your core engaged during your throw. You want to have good posture, because some people, they hunch their back when they're throwing a hyzer. You're losing your posture and your balance. You want your core to be completely engaged during the shot to have better balance. And it allows you so that when you don't want to be leaning over your back foot or leaning too far during your shot. As you're loading your shot, keep your core engaged and keep it centered and have a lot of balance. You're going to have a much smoother shot and a lot better result for what you're looking for. All right, so we talked about the core, not hunching the back, staying upright and centered. Yeah, as you're coming through your shot, obviously, staying centered in your shot, not coming too far forward, not leaning back over the back. Covered that. Let's talk about the arms. So let's talk about this twisting torque motion where you're really generating all that power. So the most efficient way to get yourself to spin fast is to be very compact. And that's another thing to think about. Try not to think about being too strong. You're not out there throwing a 45-pound plate, as a disc. You're not muscling the shot. You don't need to be tense and flexing your whole body through this shot. You want it to be smooth and quick. I know it sounds weird to say that you're not really trying to be strong through the shot. You're trying to be quick There is a lot of athleticism and strength that goes into doing this, but you want to think quick. What is the quickest way from point A to point B? That's what you want to think about, not how hard can I throw this disc? Because you can really grip a disc and just rip it and throw it. It's not going to go very far. You want to be smooth and quick. That is the most important part of the throw. So in order to be quick, think about like a dancer or a figure skater. They become very compact. So like as a dancer, you're going to step out and you're going to bring your hands in towards your body, become compact to allow the spin to happen very quickly. The same thing happens in disc golf. You want to allow your body to be compact and spin very quickly. So what I did when I first started playing, just to get used to it because it felt so weird, I would grab my pants or my shorts and I would just hold on to them with my back hand. And as I was coming through my shot, I would just stay compact with this arm. It reminded me to place this arm here and just stay compact with it. So do that until you get used to having your hand there while you're doing the throw. Then if you want to generate more power to your shot or just allow your shot to be smoother, you can use the back arm to generate some of that twisting momentum. So this is now what I do because it makes the shot very easy to just like that. Have your hand as you're coming through your backswing. Just have your hand out just a little bit away from your body, then bring it into your hip. Just really allow your body to torque and twist. And I've noticed that when I think about like my arm coming in, it allows me to think about this side of my body because we're starting the power in this leg, this side of the core, all of this driving and distributing the weight to the other side. So when I'm thinking about this arm, it allows me to forget about this arm and stop pulling with it and start with the core and everything on this side because that's where you want to start the power. Just really drive that in there and allow your hips to go in the direction of the shot, and you're still going to generate so much more power. So after you've tried all that, just another thing I want to touch on, the front arm. So you're obviously not pulling. There's a lot of videos that talk about knocking down the door with an elbow. Don't get confused. You're going to feel some tension in your shoulder and your arm. You are pulling a little bit, but you're not pulling through your shot. You don't want to do this and then end up with your arm out in front of you. You want to get to that power pocket, and then this part of your arm is actually going to go forward. You're going to push forward with your arm at the end of the shot, allowing the shot to snap out. Because if you don't do that and you pull with your arm, your shots are going to shank off right, your form's going to be all wonky, and the throws aren't going to go where you want. If I need to, I'll touch on that in another video, maybe some other time. This one's already getting kind of long, so I'm probably going to cut it off here. If there's any questions or anything I did not explain well enough, please let me know. I tried my best to kind of go over things really quickly and stuff that you should look for when you're filming yourself, and what to really focus on when you're powering your shot. I may touch on each of these things in a greater detail in another video just to have more clarity, but I just wanted to kind of touch everything that goes into the powering of your shot. Like I said, if you have a question, ask me. I'll try to answer it. But thanks for watching these videos. Thanks for leaving comments and liking them. It motivates me to make more, so hopefully I can just keep doing that and giving you guys stuff to learn, and have a good day.